What is up, YouTube? Justin here with another episode on a 1,000 horsepower Civic. Today we are going to be doing our fender cuts on the car. So we got our new fenders for the car. They're not OEM fenders, they're Certifits. So we've got them lined up as best as we can. Now remember guys, when you put these fenders on your car, make sure you guys spent, if you've done it like I have, you spent a lot of money on your paint. Just put some tape down so we don't scratch nothing gets chipped or damaged in any way while we're working on the car. And I even put tape down here so we didn't damage nothing here. So we're gonna put fender cutouts in here so you guys are watching, because obviously you don't want to spend $200 on these plastic pieces of junk, really. Worst investment I've ever bought right there. Trying to make my life easier to put these in instead of having to weld and do all this. But after they came in and I looked at them, they are just so cheap. I mean, I don't want them on my car. I mean, look at this. Not only that, you guys can see where they've overlapped the glue all the way around these things. And then they got two bolt holes here, which let me show you what them things are going to go for. They want you, it's kind of dark in here, but they want you to drill two holes in your car right here to slide these up and mount those fender cuts in here. But guys, how are you going to get to them? There's no way to get to the bolts. You have to cut the chassis to get to the bolts. So we're not using them. These plastic pieces of garbage right here is exactly what they are. Garbage. So what we did is, this is my practice fender, guys. So I hope you guys can see that real decent. So what actually has to happen here is this needs to be cut down. I know I made a line here, but to make it straight, it'll actually go almost to probably here, to make this whole body line just look straight and go right up to it. And the reason why we have to cut this tail off is it actually hangs out, and the tires that we are using on this car is going to be a 235/60/15, so they're going to be pretty beefy tires. So we need every inch in there, and what this does is it actually pokes out, and I'm afraid the tire is going to hit that. And if the tire hits that, it'll definitely cut a tire down. So if we cut this back, we're definitely out of the way. And what I mean by the reason why I'm cutting that back is this actual body line seam in the car here. That line will actually go a little bit behind the seam right here. So if the tire rubs on the fender cut, it's going to hit this first. So that's what we're trying to do, is trying to make it to where the tire doesn't rub and it has decent clearance. So really it's actually all on how big you want your fender cut to be. I think my fender cuts are 10 inches. So we got a pretty big space in there. Now online, a lot of people have been cutting these completely through. Cutting all the way through. Well, I didn't. I actually left, if you can see here, like a 1/2 inch or so as a flat spot on the fender here. Then I turned and cut this and put all this in. So this is my practice fender, so I'm trying to learn here. But we are actually going to have to put a piece of metal over this. When we make this cutout, we're going to have to weld a little piece of metal over this hole and this hole. I really don't have to, but I want to seal it up, because what we're going to do is I don't want it to trap water in there in case it rains or something and we're driving to get caught out in the rain with the car. I don't want water trapped in this void here, because we're actually going to be putting something in here, and we're not actually putting the factory Honda molding in here anymore. So we're actually doing something different, and I don't want the water to come up through these holes, sit behind there, and rot the fender or rot anything out. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you guys what we need to get started with this, and we'll get right into it. welder, and actually I forgot the welding helmet. Going to need your welding helmet, welder, going to need a grinder, and for the grinder you're going to need some cutoff wheels, grinder wheel, and we actually went and bought some of these little sandpaper floppy disks. Got a 36 grit, a 60 grit, and an 80 grit. So we use that to clean up the fender, get them nice, get it ready for Bondo. Got us a new DA. So went to just pick this up today. So got us a new DA, wrench for it. Bondo squeegees. Bondo, that'll be for another video, but we will need it for these fenders. Need a pair of pliers to cut the end of the wire on the big welder. Make sure you have your safety glasses. I got a laser to help me out. Tape measure, marker, pencil, and your grinder wheel wrench, because you're going to be changing a lot of grinding wheels and doing stuff. And don't forget your tape. Make sure you tape everything off before you put your fenders down. Don't want to scratch anything. So we're going to get right to it, guys. We're going to start marking this out and get it laid out. And we're going to see what it looks like before we go to weld it, because we're going to have to take the DA and sand all this down so we're able to weld. And guys, let me remind you that we are still having our giveaway going on the blue Civic and the red Civic. So if you guys can guess the name of this car, we will send you a free hat, some merchandise from the shop. And you can't really see it, but the red car here, if you guys give us a good name for this and we use your name, we will actually send you a hat for us using your name for the car. So guys, get your names in on the comments. We'll put a link to the video for this giveaway in the description below. So just hit that link, go over there, throw your name in the comments, and you're entered to win a hat. No purchase necessary, it's free. It takes you 20 seconds to throw a name out there, and who knows, you might win. Get a free hat out of the deal. So guys, help us out and go there and get your name in, and give us a like, share the video. We'd just like to see if anybody can guess the name of the blue one, and we'd like to have a name for the red one. So let's get on with today's video. Thanks. Everything's cleaned up, so what we're going to do is go ahead and mark and measure these. If I can find my tape. Just get them close, guys. Close as what you think looks good for your car. You don't have to go as big as I am. You can go smaller. Sorry about the air compressor. But what we're going to do here is make a mark at 13. And make a mark at 3. That's roughly a ½ inch. Like I said, nothing's got to be precise with this. So now we need to set up our grinder with the cutting wheel so we can actually cut this, and cut this piece out. But what you don't want to do is actually go past your line. You want to stay right at your line. So the best thing is just make sure you're close and just take little bit by little bit until you get there. Don't take big cuts, because you can't add nothing to this, and you guys don't want to go buy another fender, because with what's going on right now, it may take you 3 weeks to 4 weeks to even get this to you. It's crazy out there. and we'll be able to, once we get this piece intact, that piece intact, we'll mark the where we need to cut it here. We'll take the fender off, we'll cut it, and then we'll finish weld it over on the table. All right, guys, got to do a bunch of grinding, a bunch of sanding, some Bondo work, but my crappy welds are in there, so we'll grind a bunch of this down. We'll do that in the next episode, so stick tuned, guys. We're going to have another episode on these. We're going to grind them, put the Bondo on them, get them all ready for primer, so that'll be tomorrow. I got another fender to make,
So we'll get the other fender made, and tomorrow we'll grind these down and get everything cleaned up and looking good on them. So that's it for today's episode on how to make fender cuts. So I hope this helped you guys. If it did, please smash that like button, share it, subscribe. It only helps my channel grow. And tomorrow we will be doing the grinding and putting the Bondo on the fenders. And guys, don't forget to get your name in the hat or the pot for the hats on the red Civic and the blue Civic. So we'll put a link down in the description below so you guys can hop right over to that video and put your guess in there and or whatever name you want. So stick tuned, guys, and we'll see you on the next video.